Hi, uh, I'm going to start my presentation. The subject that I have chosen is for the outsourcing for my segment one. In this presentation, I will going to share with you the advantages and the disadvantages of the outsourcing, and also the experience that I have experienced when I use the outsource for my clients when I was deploying the ERP application for them. So let's begin. So outsourcing is a very important subject for today's area. A lot of companies they take the they take the advantages of the outsourcing, and also they hired the outsource from the different part of the universe, different part of the countries, and they also take the benefit of the developer which have the more experience or any other field where they have the more experience, and the business they take the advantages from that outsource. So and so let's begin. So project management is basically being used in all part of the business. Either it's a finance, either it's IT, information technology, either it's the construction side, either it's the agriculture, or any kind of a business. Project manager, they use their tools and skill sets to complete the project, and also they're also more their main focus is to basically meet the business needs, and also they are looking after the quality of work, the time of the work, and also the cost quality. So let's understand what the outsource is. Outsource is basically the external resources that we hired from the different part of the different country, based on their pricing and also the technical knowledge they have it. It also helped the reduce the cost for the project, and also the company will going to focus on the other part of their business structure. Uh, the outsourcing is also used for the IT software development or the customer services or the IT support. Nowadays, it is also being used on the uh, other other companies as well, like in the accounting team for the bookkeeping as well. What is the advantages of the outsource? Outsource advantages is basically being used for the cost saving. So the company can basically focus on their internal team on their strategic tasks. It is basically flexibility and the efficiency of the work as well, and also the global talent and the advance of the technology being used by the outsource. Like for example, nowadays the technology is being used for the AI. So most of those AI resources are being used by the outsource, and they are basically used by uh, the Gulf side or the Asian side of the countries. The challenging with the outsource is basically the lack of the project management and the also the outsourcing management as well. The another issue with the another disadvantages is basically the cultural and the language being used by the outsource. Also, with the problem with the outsource is the poor monitoring of the system, and they are also having the issue with the negotiation challenges as well. So those things I will go into discuss further on my slide. So let's start with the communication barrier. On my slide, you can see what are the communication barriers are. like the time zone, languages, technology barriers, physical environment barriers, and all those kind of barriers. So let's discuss the more depth on that one. So the time zone difference is basically when we hire the outsource from the other country like India, Pakistan. So they are basically 24 hours ahead. So if we have the day time, so they are going to have the evening time or night time. So it's very hard to communicate with them during those work hours. So basically our work hours is starting in the morning and they are basically ending their shift by the evening time. The another issue is with the languages. So as the English is not their first language, so it's very hard to communicate with them with our primary language as the English. Sometimes we have the issue with the technology as well, like when we do the Teams meeting or we use any WhatsApp meeting or any kind of the technology that we use to communicate with the outsource. Sometimes there is an issue with the technical problems. The system is not incompatible or the information sharing as well. And then sometimes we are having the physical environment issues as well, like the poor lighting or the distraction or lack of the privacy. Because most of the time the outsourced people they work from home and there is a family around them. So there is always a background noise, or if they are working in the office, so they don't have a dedicated rooms to meet with the client, so they do the communication on their desk, and we have a very background noise, so it's very hard to understand. And sometimes we have the issue with their information. Then reporting lines means if there is no teams structure over there who basically, so we have, if we are working with the single person and there is no team lead, so it's very hard to communicate, it's very hard to do the reporting line as well. So those so now the solution. So when we see the communication barrier issues, so now let's talk about the solution, how we can resolve those issues when we do the outsource. So basically, let's go through one by one for the time zone. So we basically try to communicate with the people where they are flexible on their end and our end to do the communication, and then get all the project updates while they are live. Okay, before we start the project, so we basically put up that condition that if you want to go through with this going through that project, so we have to basically work on that particular time period or time that we can communicate and get the updates for the project. We also try to use the easy English language so they can also understand what we are trying to say, and try to get more feedback from them, that if they have understand what the stakeholders requirements are. So once they understand the language, so basically it will going to hard the project manager to get those things done on time. And also whenever we have the meeting, we have to basically tell them that we have to do the meeting where there is no background noise. Okay, so it will going to easy to communicate, so it will going to easy to understand what the stakeholder is saying, and it is also basically a good way to do the presentation, so the stakeholder knows that the person who is doing is very sincere on his work, and all those key points. It will going to help the stakeholder on the positive side that the project what the person is doing, it's basically going to be complete and the person is very engaged on this project. So what are the risks in the outsource? So there are a lot of risks being involved when we do the outsourcing. It's basically the financial risk, quality risk, as you've seen in my presentation. So what are the financial risks? So basically nowadays, as you've seen, that there is always the exchange rate fluctuation, it's very high. So whatever the price that we have defined with them, so we have, so based on that exchange rate, it will going to be hard that it will going to go a little bit uh, on the finance side. And also one of the another factor is the quality risk, because the delivers the we are asking for the outsource to be done, those quality has to be fulfilled as per the company's format. And also sometimes we lose the control on the project, that vendors capabilities or something like that which has been not been negotiated. So it is very, so those are the risk. There is also the security and confidentiality risk as well, where the data breaches, if there is information on the members, so how we can fulfill those security part. And also the strategic risk as well, that we have to basically the misalign of the vendors and the organization goals. So, and the another risk is that the documentations, the communication risk. So let's talk about that, how we can avoid those risks. So 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 in my case study, that in my project, in my literature paper, I have put the case study for the ERP application outsource. So what was the difficulties that I have been get when I did the first time the outsource? One with the communication, the time zone. Then, as I told you in my previous presentation, those are the key factors which has been issued. The quality process, also the knowledge transfer and training, project management practices. So basically, how we can medicate those strategies. So we have to basically do the structure communication for the project. We have to collaborate with the platform team, that whenever we do some meetings, so we have to be very precise that our communication is good, we don't have any background noise. We have to also present, we have to also been decided that the other team which has been outsourced, they also have the same things. Once the project is completed, so basically the one thing is the documentation. So before we sign up the project, we have to let the outsource know that whatever the things they are doing it, those are being properly documented. And once the project is completed, so the knowledge transfer and the training has to be provided for the business, so they can understand the logics, they can understand the process, and they don't have any issues. So those are the project management practices that we have to align with it. So the conclusion is, for the outsource, is basically the one of the key factor is the cost saving. And the operation is very flexible, the global expertise, focus on the core competencies, faster project delivery, because when we do the outsource, the project delivery is fast. The challenges, as I told in my last previous presentation, is the communication, the time zone delays, the security and the confidential risk are there. And success factor is basically that we are low on our budget. We basically finish the project on the budget, basically low, not low on the budget. We uh, complete the project within the time. And we are using the tools for to complete the project using the Azure DevOps or the Agile. And we continuously monitoring, and the knowledge transfer need has been complete to the business as well. So this is the end of my presentation. I hope that I have briefly described how the outsource been benefit to the companies. Thank you so much, and have a good day.